Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Juan Crisales here, man. I'm excited to come back to you guys again one more time because right now we are out of state. Believe it or not, we're in California. A friend of ours decided that he wanted to invite us to his 30-year retirement ceremony for the Marine Corps. We're just like, yeah, sure, man, let's go ahead and make a road trip. It's one of the beauties of being an entrepreneur and being in this particular business is that once you've established some systems in your business, then you can go ahead and kind of detract yourself from it, right? So of course we still have some supervision that's going on over there. And one of the benefits of building inside of the city limits is that you have a second and third set of eyes that are looking to make sure that the project gets done according to code. Now, we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about framing. We'll be talking about some plumbing vents situations here, which I think is very cool for you guys to learn and understand. Now, a lot of the stuff that I put you guys, show you guys here is to kind of explain certain things to you, but you don't have to necessarily be the absolute expert in it. I just want you to understand that because I think it intimidates a lot of people. It's like, man, I don't really know that much stuff about all this, how this all works. But the thing is that, for example, here in the electrician side, this guy is a master licensed electrician. This is his job that he does, and he does every single day. He doesn't do anything else. He doesn't do sheetrock. He doesn't do anything else. And so we know this stuff, and we work with him, but we pick up some of this ancillary information as we go through. So here's another one of the reasons why I enjoy working with new construction is because it's brand new, and you don't have to worry about removing insulation. You don't have to worry about removing sheetrock or any of that stuff, which makes it very, very easy to kind of work through that stuff. Here is another picture of the hot water that's going to be coming through. The red line, just in case you didn't know, is for hot water, and then the blue lines are going to be for cold water. One of the things that we do for framing tips and tricks here is if you can see right here, this big piece of wood here, it's a 2x12, and it doesn't matter the size of the piece of wood, honestly, but the reason we put something there and it's flush with this is for the toilet paper holder. One of the things that I tell you is kind of like a little bit annoying after you've had several rental properties is that you go through and you do turnover for rental properties. And one of the problems you always run into is the toilet paper always seems to be like, the toilet paper holder always seems to be ripped off because it's just attached to sheetrock, right? And so, I know they sell sheetrock screws to kind of make it a little bit more sturdy, but at the end of the day, if you have kids, I have a bunch of kids, right? I got 4 kids. And so like they hang on stuff, they kick stuff. Sometimes things happen, whatever, they get ripped off. But if you have this solid piece of wood as a backing to the toilet paper holders, that makes it a lot more permanent. You don't have to really worry about it as much. So now it's one of the things that we do on a regular basis for the rentals. Okay, so as you can see here, we also have one that's going to be right at about 24 inches. So I take these pictures because I want to make sure that, we all remember it's going to be on the right-hand side. So there's the toilet, right? The toilet's going to be sitting right there, and we're going to attach the toilet paper holder at about 24 inches on center from the floor. And so that way we know we're going to be hitting wood. So remember, the last one was a little bit thicker, or at least a little bit wider. See how that's a lot wider? But these are just leftover pieces of wood. There's no specific thing for code for that. We just use whatever's left over at 24 inches on center, and then that way we know that we're going to be able to hit wood. That way, the TP holder doesn't fall off. So kind of a cool thing there. All right, self-venting here because this is going to be inside of an island, and this island is going to have a sink. So that's something else there. And I want to show you, well, let's move on to something else real quick. I'm showing you some pictures of the windows, another toilet paper holder backing right there on the left-hand side that you can see. And we showed you some of these pictures already a little bit before. I'm going to kind of cycle through some of these stuff because we're already past this. I've been out of pocket for a few days, and we've gotten a lot of this stuff already done. But everything's pretty much getting done. And now we're at the point where the roof is actually getting put in. So the roof is completely put in, and these guys are doing a fantastic job. They did it in one day. And see, this is one of the other things that you as a builder need to ensure that you talk to with these guys. It's like, hey, we're going to provide the materials or bring the material and the labor, but we need this entire project to be done in one day. Why? Because there's no reason to be sitting up there taking material down. There's nothing to clean up afterwards in terms of like leftover shingles and stuff like that. There are pieces that do need to be cleaned up because they get cut, especially here on the edges and stuff. But at the end of the day, this is a one-day job, okay? This is not super crazy. If you have a roofer that's going to tell you this job is going to take 2 or 3 days for your single-story approximately 2,400 square foot duplex, and they're telling you it's going to take them 2 or 3 days, I would likely go with a different contractor, guys. That's not realistic. In my opinion, they're wasting time. This is a 1 day job. All right, let's move on here. As you can see here, this guy stamped his stuff because he wants to make sure he keeps a record of the stuff, and obviously he's going to be billing us. And then we got the rest of it here. Now remember, this is a little bit more technical, but some of you guys will remember that there is a firewall. This duplex is split. Unit A is going to be on this side. This is the Martin Luther King side here, and then this is the North Campbell side on this side. So this is going to be the Unit B. So the firewall actually technically goes through the middle this way, instead of the one here on the left where the firewall actually went this way. So Unit A, Unit B. So because of that, the ridge vents, you're allowed to have ridge vents here because that's just a single unit there, and then ridge vents on this side. And ridge vents are these things here. So now the purpose of these, imagine, the heat from the inside of the attic. If you've ever been in the attic in Texas in the middle of summer, it is absolutely hot in there. It is the craziest heat you could possibly imagine. You can't survive in there for very, very long. You will go into dehydration mode and you'll just lose your mind in there. It's so hot. And so one of the ways that makes homes more efficient now is we use these things called ridge vents. So imagine we're inside of the attic right now and the heat is escaping up, and it has to find a way to escape out. So it goes to the highest point here in the peaks, and then it eventually starts coming out this way. And so that's the purpose of these little things here that we do on the sides. If I can zoom in here, I'll show you. You'll be able to see how these little things have little holes right here on the left and right hand side of it. And that's where the heat will actually escape out, so that all that heat doesn't just get trapped inside the attic, making the rest of your house way, way hot. All right, so here's another angle of the picture that, from the roof that this guy did, showing us that everything was completed. The little pipes here are painted, which is something else that needs to be done per inspection. And everything is looking fantastic. So now we're ready to send the city inspector out there to verify that everything's been done correctly and according to code and all that stuff. And we'll be ready to pass that roof inspection. Now, one of the things that people ask me all the time is like, what kind of roof do I put? This is going to be a rental. Should I go with a lower quality roof or a better quality roof? We always err on the side of caution. We go with the 30-year architectural shingle. Sometimes the people call it 25-year architectural shingle, but it's this stuff here, okay? It's good quality. It's going to help your appraisal. It's going to help the resale value. I like it. I use it on every single house. We use the black onyx stuff every single time. I don't like changing it, and that's really the end of that. All right, and now for the very last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is going to be a plumbing thing that we do. Now, if you guys remember in the picture I just showed you, there wasn't a whole bunch of like pipes sticking up out of the top. The reason for that is because we try to do our best working with the plumber to join the pipes inside of the attic instead of having a bunch of holes in the attic. So now you see there is one pipe right here. You see there's one pipe right there. I'm painting blue. And there's another pipe right there. So there's one, there's two, and there's another one over here. They're all for different things, right? We have a kitchen sink, we have a dishwasher, we have a tub, toilet combination over there, whatever it is. Now, all of these have to be vented, right? The toilet needs to be vented. So instead of making 3 holes in the attic, you see that? They all 3 join here, and we make just 1 hole. And I know this is kind of a duh statement, right? Like you're like, of course, that makes perfect sense, right? The less number of holes you make in the roof, the less likely it is to leak, right? And so you wouldn't think that, right? But like, it's really a big, big thing that, kind of just a trade craft from the guys from the plumber's perspective. And in case, they're not doing that, we ask them to do it. Like, hey, bro, like, try to combine as many of these vents as you can, so that whenever they link up at the top, we have less vents that we have to put on the top, okay? See, so as you can see here, I mean, it's very nice and clean. We have one here and one here. That's 2 total holes that could potentially incur water at some point in the future, right? Because there's an actual hole in the roof, and that's the purpose of that. But, we've covered it up with a roof and everything's been caulked in, everything's good. Then we shouldn't have an issue with it, right? But imagine if we had one for each one. We have one here, we have one here, one here. All these different pipes coming up out of the ceiling, like that would be ridiculous. And you're just like, why so many? And that's because you know, that's super inefficient, super dangerous, and that's why we try to combine them inside of the attic, so that way we only have one coming up out of the roof. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to see you on the next one.